Hi, sorry if you can hear a buzzsaw at my window, they've been going all day and I can't find a better time to record this. So I saw this comment on Reddit the other day on a post about ReactBot, the little guy in the corner of some of Jacksfilms streams who, like many of us, says one of 700 pre-recorded phrases when activated. Anyway, this got me to thinking whether it would be possible to make something like that you could effectively just drag and drop audio lines into and it would say them, and then that dream was real. No, this is mine. I made the character in Character Creator 4, giving them a toon face, but realistic skin, hair and eyes because I want to upset people. ReactBot, the actual one, is designed specifically for use by the Jacksfilms YouTube channel, which means that the animations for each line are customized. For instance, there's this bit where the bot says,
and I whoop.
Naturally, because this version won't know what lines are going to be fed into it until runtime, we can't do anything with that level of finesse. However, there is this Unity asset I found that does lip syncing for a reasonable price, and it seems to work pretty well out of the box once you get the lip movement and jaw movement sensitivity to the right level. This approach also has the other advantage of avoiding jumps in the rig's animations. Some of ReactBot's phrases, while much higher fidelity, don't transition between the idle pose and the speech animation cleanly, whereas by breaking up how the rig animates and how the lips move modularly makes that easier to achieve. Which is not a criticism of ReactBot in particular. I'm not an animator and wouldn't know where to begin actually making the whole thing from scratch. Anyway, after putting that in, I programmed it to read the contents of a new speech folder in the resources directory of the game's data. It then picks a random .wav file from the contents of that directory and streams the resulting audio to an audio source. That audio source plays it, and the system then does the lip syncing for me without me needing to spend 6 months learning what a vice seam is. The fun thing about populating the system from a folder is that you can also do this. This is a list of all the valid audio files the system has found. Using the magic of persistent saves, you can also track what emotion the character should convey when speaking a particular line. Currently there's neutral, happy, sad, and annoyed. I like annoyed the best because I think it conveys the most vaguely emotional looking emotion. I'll workshop the rest and come back to you. Audio isn't the only kind of data we can stream from a file though, and something else that occurred to me was that ReactBot has that little ReactBot insignia on his t-shirt. I figure it might be nice to be able to do something like that here too, but obviously not everyone is going to want their shirt to say ReactBot on it. There is, after all, no accounting for bad taste. So what I did was I took the base color map of the shirt from the Character Creator 4 export, edited it, and dropped it into the base color map field of the shirt's material, which is fine if the end user has the raw Unity project, but that's probably not going to work for us. So instead, when the user clicks the refresh shirt button, it looks for a file called shirt.png in the textures folder, and if it finds one, it does the material update at runtime. Now they have this little Harry 2 insignia on their shirt, which I think is fun. Speaking of refreshing things, you can also refresh your mask. But what's the point of the mask? Pause for laughter, I hear you ask. Well, you may not look like this grotesque nightmare and may instead want to look like someone else, which is why I added this mask that you can toggle on and off. You can also change the image on the mask by adding a mask.png to the textures folder in the same way as the shirt, so you can make your character look vaguely like you with cut out holes in the eyes and mouth. So nothing like you, but that's okay. Other settings you can change, there's also a slider for skin tone and a slider for tiredness, so you can make your character look like me after 5 seconds of having to be awake in the morning. And both of those settings persist between sessions, so it'll remember what you put them to. It also saves jaw and mouth sensitivities, so you don't need to repeatedly fiddle with those either once you've got them to places where you're happy with how the mouth movement looks. It also needed an icon, so I sorted that out too. Anyway, that's how it looks at the moment. You can toggle between different background colors depending on what color you want to key out, and the program also ships with 3 batch files you can point a stream deck to in order to trigger various controls. One toggles the mask on and off, one toggles the background color, and one plays a random audio file from your library. It's not really that close to ReactBot proper in fidelity terms, but I think as a project it gets kind of close to providing a variant thereof that works in real time. I think if I were to work on this project further, and maybe I will and maybe I won't, Lord knows I'm bad at keeping to the things I say I'm going to do, but I'd like to add a custom emotion editor so you can have the character's face animate in more intricate ways. The blend shapes of the rig, the little values that control how the component parts of the face move, like the nose and the brow and so on, are exposed in Unity, meaning theoretically there's a world where users could set them themselves, but that's a far longer project in itself than this has been so far. I'd also like to make other parts of the character rig customizable, the hair and eye color for one, but making the skin tone and tiredness customizable proved a bit of a faff in and of itself, so I didn't really feel like doing that for V1. I haven't had an opportunity to test this program on lower end hardware, and the picture quality is a little high, so it might be that it can't run on weaker machines, but the download link's in the description if you want to give it a try for yourself. Thanks for listening to my brand new radio broadcast. Look forward to new videos in 30 years, I imagine. Goodbye.